For those who haven't paid attention, we're in a series right now called Come to the Table. And what we talked about is the fact that God has invited you, God has invited you to be a part of what He's doing. Because He loves you and He cares about you, He's seen you and He knows you, and He's invited you to be a part of what He's doing. And His table is incredible. It's not plastic like this one. His table, what He has, what He offers, what God offers is amazing, is blessing, is love, is life, is peace. Hi, tell me guys, please stop talking. Hey, listen. What God offers at His table is He offers physical and spiritual fulfillment. Hey, what God has for you is something beautiful and incredible. God wants to work in your life. He wants you to know you're not alone. He wants to be with you in every situation you're going through. And He invites you to come be a part of what He's doing. But, so many of us have people in our lives that take us away from God. So many of us have even people right now distracting others because they're more caring about themselves than what God has for them. God has so much for you. God has so much for you. Freedom from addiction, freedom from hurt, for whenever you're going through depression. God has so much for you. But so many of us have people in our lives that don't help us get to the table, but take us away from it. Eyes on me. There's people in our lives. Hey! Stop. Please don't be that person right now. God has so much for you. But the people in your life, even the people in this room, can drain you. Dear God, I thank you for today. Dear God, I thank you for these teens. I thank you for just the fact that I get to be here. God, you've invited us to something beautiful and incredible. God, you've invited us to a perfect relationship with you. God, you want us to be a part of something incredible, God. And I don't want the students in here to miss out what you have. So right now, God, we speak against distraction. We speak against selfishness. We speak against pride. We speak against all the things in this room right now that are trying to take us away from you. Things that are trying to take me away. So tonight, we want to be a part of your table. We don't want to be taken away. We thank you, we praise you, and we need you. Is your name we pray? Amen. All right, let's try this. Shalom. Come on. Let's try it again. Shalom. Very nice. For those who don't know what that means peace be with you. And some of you students need to be peaceful right now. But so, I'm glad y'all are here. It's going to be a good night. I want to tell you about a guy. This guy needs a name. Someone yell out a name. What did you say? Devin? Okay, so the guy's name is Devin. So this guy named Devin. Listen, does everyone see Devin? No! Cool. Now listen, Devin is the kind of guy who doesn't look at warnings. He doesn't look at warnings or red flags or anything. And I mean hey, eyes on me, please stop talking. Loki. Now this guy, he doesn't look at anything, doesn't look at the warnings, all this stuff, and it goes for everything. Did you know, this guy, Devin, he is allergic to seafood. But whenever he goes out to eat, do you know what he always orders? Seafood. And so every time he does, he gets super itchy, rashy, he swells up, bunch of different stuff. Now, and he gets sick, but he doesn't care. Now, it's not only with food that he ignores warnings, he also ignores warnings and red flags with relationships. He wanted to date this girl, but this girl had a boo, so that girl cheated on her boo to be with him.
Why you boo?
I know she cheated on, but guys, I'm going to give you a warning real quick. If you're dating someone who cheated on someone to be with you, guess what they're going to do to you? They're going to cheat. So what do you think happened to our guy? They cheated on him. Now listen, what else? He also, he didn't follow warnings whenever he went out camping. You know the whole sign that says only you can prevent forest fires. He didn't listen to warnings, didn't follow instructions, and he built a fire, and he actually set fire to California. That was very bad. Now there's also this guy. Not only then, but he also went on, he ignores red flags whenever he goes sailing. There are certain signs and signals that says there's a storm coming. But he goes sailing anyway. What do you think happens? The boat flips, he loses his boats, and almost drowns. Now the last is this. The guy that ignores warnings, the term red flag actually comes from, in certain areas, whether it's policemen or military, or someone is, they're shooting firearms as practice or something like that. And there's live ammo. That's where the red flag is. This guy ignored those flags. And he walked into an area that had live ammo going. What do you think happened? He died. Alright, real quick, we're going to stop real quick because there is so much distraction in talking right now. Hey, boys, listen. If a sponsor is talking to you and gives you instructions, you need to listen or you will be asked to leave. Please don't make us do that. So, this guy, he ignored all red flags. Ignored them all. And the point of this, guys, y'all think this guy is pretty dumb, right? He ignored it on food, people, fire, all this stuff. And every time, he's kind of dumb because he kept ignoring what was there, right? You look at this guy like, glad I'm not him. But here's the thing. It's not a real person. But it is definitely something that we do. How many times do we ignore red flags? A lot. Now, and here's the thing, we're going to talk about a little bit, because a red flag is an obvious warning in our lives. Something that you can tell something bad's going to happen, and you ignore it. You ignore it completely. Hey. So listen. So here's a warning for all of you guys. Let's see if you'll notice the red flag. If you continually talk and just be disrespectful, then you're moved. That's kind of an obvious warning. You have the option to recognize it or suffer for it. Because the red flags go like this. They're telling you something's going on. You get to decide whether you make the dumb decision or not. And that's biblical. Proverbs 22:3. This is a verse right here that talks exactly about this. It says this, a prudent person, which means a wise person, someone who knows what's going on, a prudent person foresees danger and then takes precautions. They see that they're allergic to seafood, so they avoid Red Lobster. They see the flags, and so they don't go to where there's going to be harm. And that's what, but here's the thing, it continues on. The simpleton, the fool, the dum-dum, goes blindly on and suffers the consequences. How many of us have ignored warnings, red flags, problems? Thank you for being honest. And suffered for it. Because whose fault is it? It's the person who ignored it, right? If you ignore a red flag, it's not anyone else's fault but your own for making that mistake. But listen, tonight we're going to be talking about something, there's relational red flags. And I don't just mean just romantic or whatever. A relationship can be between you and your parent. A relationship can be between you and your friends. Sorry. To have a relationship with someone is just to know them. Devin, I don't want to ask you to leave, but I will. I know, stop. There's a lot of... I'm going to name some red flags that you can see, and you might look at your life and your friends, and you might be seeing these red flags. The people in front of you, if you have a relationship with someone that's a continual liar, that all they do is lie, can you really trust them? It's a really big red flag, because if they lie about little things, they're going to lie about big things. If you can't trust them with small things, you can't trust them with big things. But it continues on, there's more red flags. There's whether it's selfishness. If all they care about is themselves, they take care of them, they never take care of you. They care about what they got going on, they're not really, if you got hurt, they don't care. And there's pride, which is close to selfishness, but this is it's kind of subtler. A prideful person thinks they're better than you. They think they're so good, it doesn't matter what anyone else is going on, they're the main character. They're the one that matters. So if Pastor Andrew asks them to stop talking, they don't care because it's all about them. That's pride. But also you can find it in relationships other than that. You might see a girl who every time she's got to look in the mirror, got to look her best, she's got to make sure she looks bad for the selfie. That's kind of pride. But then you also got the guys. You got the guys that work out. They're always making sure that they look good in the mirror. And they got pride. Oh, it's also this. This is, guys, ladies, look out for this. If there's a guy who wants to fight everyone because they offended their mama, they offended their brother, they talk bad about their hair, and they're just like, every time, they're like, do or die. That's a red flag. They're not going to be able to take care of you because they can't even take care of themselves when it comes to how they see themselves. But there's also more. There's relationships that are controlling. If they just want to control your life. Whether it's family or whether it's whatever it is, they control you. There's some relationships that are gaslighting. That lie and make sure that you feel like you're the problem every time. And there's more. There's substance abuse. There's history of cheating, of infidelity. There's verbal and physical abuse. All of these are red flags, and some of you be like, yeah, avoid it. But so many of us don't. You see the red flags, you know they're going to hurt you, and you do it anyway. Sometimes it's friends, sometimes we allow family members, sometimes it's relationships. Are you ignoring red flags in your life? Because the reality is, whenever it comes down to it, the person who suffers for ignoring red flags is you. And I want to tell you this because there's people in our lives that take us away from what God has for us. And I want to say the people that you surround yourself with are going to shape who you are. It is true. There's statistics that if one person in a friend group starts working out and getting healthy, everyone else in the friend group kind of sees that and starts kind of following and wanting to do that. And it goes the other way too. If everyone that you surround yourself with doesn't care and just eats whatever and is just unhealthy, everyone falls back into that. That goes with so many things. The people you surround yourself with are going to shape you. Are you ignoring red flags in your relationships? Are you allowing the friends that tear you down all the time to get you in trouble, that hurt you, that selfishly hurt you or your family in ways, that talk crap, that lie? Are you allowing those into your life? 2 Corinthians 15:33, it says this. Don't be misled. Bad company corrupts good character. Don't get it confused. Don't get it twisted. The people you surround yourself with will shape you. If your parents and family says, don't abuse alcohol and don't abuse stuff, but you surround yourself with people who abuse those things, you will probably fall into that. If you want to live a life and you want to get stuff done and be successful, but you surround yourself with people who all they want to do is mess around and just ignore and tear themselves down, it shapes who you are. Don't be misled. Don't forget it. Guys, and I know y'all are here tonight, and I know some of y'all are going to hear it tonight, some of y'all are going to ignore the red flag and go straight into the storm. But don't be misled. It hurts you. Now here's the thing. You are invited to God's table. You are invited to be a part of what God's doing, to get His blessings, to get His life-giving everything. He wants to work in your life so that when you're depressed, you trust in Him. When you're hurting, you know He's going to bring you healing. When you're alone, you know you're not alone because He's going to be there. Whenever when there's so much pain in your life and there's so much hurt, God's going to be the one that's there for you. That's what He provides. That's what He's there. He wants to give you a new life. You're invited to the table, but as you can see today, there's more than one table. You're invited to this table, but you're also invited to this one. You're invited to this table. Guys, this table is all about pleasure. Whatever you want to do, whatever you want to eat, if you want to feel good, if you want to look at things to make yourself feel good, whatever it is, this is going to be the things that focus on you. This is your pleasure. This is life. God wants you to be happy. So why aren't you here? That's what the point of life is, just to feel good. It kind of just ignore the fact that can lead to a lot of sicknesses, diseases, addictions. It can lead to broken hearts. It can lead to broken families. If it's all about you feeling good, why do you care about anyone else? There's also this table over here. And now this table over here, this is the relationship you want. This is the person you want to be with. This is the person that you've dreamt of. And yes, ignore the fact that all they care about is their looks. Ignore the fact that they are always texting someone else. Ignore the fact that they don't actually, care about you. Ignore those things. Both of these tables, and there's so many other options. There's so many other tables, and I understand. They're tempting because it's yes, at first sight, that's what I want. I want that instant gratification. I want those things. But the reality is every time we choose these other tables, it hurts us. And it's usually the you go to these tables because you're invited by someone. You're invited by someone to be a part of this. You have people in your life that, yeah, come on, let's do this. Just come on, if you want to be cool, if you want to be with us, you do these things. If you want to be accepted, if you want to feel good, you do these things. And we have so many people in our lives that take us away from God. Take us away from what He has for us. And 2 Corinthians 6:14 says this. It says, "Do not be yoked together with unbelievers, for what do righteousness and wickedness have in common? Or what fellowship can light have with darkness?" Yoked right here, the word yoke doesn't mean eggs. Yoked is actually, I have an image of it. It's with some cows, oxen. Do we have that image? Hopefully I put it in. Either way, a yoke is an image. It's something, it's this tool right here that connects them. Wraps around their necks, and so that whenever they go the same way. If one of those cows turns left, where are they going to go? Both are going left. If one of the cows goes right, where are they going to go? They're going to go right. And yoked together means this. You're connected. You're connected. Where one of you go, both of you go. And some of us have connected ourselves with people who aren't headed in the right way. Some of us have yoked ourselves together, whether it's relationship, whether it's partnership, whether it's you surround yourself with people who are not headed in the right way. We become yoked with people. And it says unequally yoked is the word, because some of us are trying to go here, but if some other people are going the other way, it doesn't work. Don't be unequally yoked. I'm going to go back to yoked in a minute. But how many, raise your hand just real quick, no need to talk, but raise your hand. How many of y'all have ever pulled weeds? Anyone pulled weeds before? Okay, you pull a weed? Hands down. So, I had to pull weeds a ton growing up. Every summer when weeds would come up, my mom would send me and my siblings out, and we'd spend hours just pulling weeds. And it was really annoying. And I'd say I didn't like it, but I really didn't understand what was going on. Because I was like, they're green, just like grass. What's the difference? Just mow them like everything else. But no, the thing is, weeds do this. Weeds, hey, guys, weeds don't just drink the water in the ground like grass does, but they take the water from everything around them. Weeds suck the life out of everything around them. It doesn't just live there, it kills everything. It draws and drains everything that's around them. And so that's why we pulled the weeds, so that the grass would live. Now, for those who know who've pulled weeds before, you know you don't just cut the top. That doesn't do anything. You don't just pick it off or all stuff. You have to get the roots. You have to completely remove it, or it's gonna stay there. And it's gonna grow again and keep stealing and draining the life out of everything around it. It's gonna continue. When dealing with weeds, you have to pull it away with your roots. And guys, tonight is like, I got a serious thing I want to tell you, and most of you, it's a hard sermon. I was sitting there, I was like, I kind of don't want to even teach this because it's kind of hard. But I'm going to be very honest with you real quick, and it's going to not sound fun. There are people in your life that you need to remove out of your life. Eyes on me here. Don't want to lose you right now. There are people in your life that are draining the life out of you, taking you away from everything God has for you, and you are allowing it. And you've ignored the red flags, but right now, here's the thing. Look around you. See the people that are draining you, taking your life away from you, and remove them. And don't just slightly do it. Roots and all. There are people in your life that you need to cut out. Do you need to cut ties? There's some of you are people that you might be in a relationship and you might need to break up. There's some of you that you need to distance yourselves from the people that are hurting you. Hey. You're invited to this table. And you're meant to have friends. You're meant to be surrounded by people that are going to lift you up and pull you closer to God. You're called to be equally yoked. So the people that you connect yourself with, the people that you allow in your life, the people that you are influenced by, the people that shape you, make sure you're going to the same table. Because the reality is, there's no seat hopping. You either choose this or you choose this. God has so much for you and wants you to experience everything. Eyes on me. God has so much for you, but you got to choose. Are you going to surround yourself with people that lift you up, that help you, that are going to take care of you? Do you have a friend that's going to be with you through it all? Whenever you're hurting, they're going to pray for you. Whenever you're going through depression, they're going to talk with you. That whenever you're going through a hard time, they're going to lift you up instead of tear you down. Or are you surrounding yourself and ignoring the red flags with people that are hurting you, tearing you away from God? Everyone is invited to this table. And I don't want to get it confused. It's not like you're supposed to just, anyone that's broken, avoid them. That's not. Because if that was the case, I wouldn't be here. Because I'm broken. But instead, when we come to this table, we allow God to shape us so that when we go out into the world, we're inviting people here. So that whenever people experience Nathan, they're going to experience and be invited to the table because of how he loves. Hey. So that when people experience you out in the world, they're going to come to the table because of how you live. You're called to be the invitation. You're called to be the one who's out there shaping and bringing people to God. Or you can be a distraction. You are invited to God's table. Don't let the people around you draw you away. Tonight, I challenge you to think about your relationships, your friendships, the people you rely on. Are there red flags you're ignoring? Are there people that you have allowed to shape you that are taking you away from what God has?
Exactly, so what would it mean? You're gonna get hurt in me. I'm not quiet. Be quiet.
Check your friends. Make sure the people that are in your life are pulling you towards God, not away. Dear God, I thank you for tonight. I thank you for these students. I thank you for what you're doing. Let us not be distracted from what you have. God, we're in need lost. They need you. Help them surround themselves with people that lift them up to you. We need you, God, and we ask you, Lord. Help these students to have the strength and willingness to cut relations with the people that are tearing them away from you. And let them be willing and strong enough to bring people towards you. You are a good and loving God, and you care about all these students. We thank you and we praise you. It's in your name we pray. Amen.